There's some new limited time elevated offers, some credits might be disappearing, while other ones are on the chopping block, and there's also a ton of good points availability to Japan. This and more in today's roundup. Big favor before we dive into everything is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you know someone that might benefit, then share this with them. Starting off, let's look at some new elevated offers from United. Even if you don't want to fly United, these miles can be useful for partners. Let's say you want to go from North America to Europe. There's a bunch of options for Zurich, London, and Frankfurt in business class for 80k to 88k. For example, this would be New York to Zurich with Swiss Business. 88k plus about $6 in fees. Also note that if you do have the mid-level cards and up, then 88k gets knocked down to 80k. There also is a United flight from EWR if you'd rather fly United Middle, and same 80k principle here. Another option is Boston to Vienna with Austrian Airlines. This is on the 767 and doesn't look bad at all. For Asia, one of the options is India for 88k. For example, JFK to Mumbai for 88k base and 80k with the card. With East Asia, you have Japan, Taipei, and Korea, but a lot of these are later in the year. For example, here's Dallas to Taipei with EVA at 110k and then 100k with the card. Business class isn't a bad way to deal with a 16.5-hour flight. Pretty nice looking product as well. There's 3 cards with pretty solid offers. With the United Explorer card, you can earn up to 80,000 bonus miles and 3,000 PQPs after 3,000 spent on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. The PQPs are for chasing status, and I think most people can ignore them, since they're not really usable. The breakdown here is interesting. It's 70k and you earn 10k by adding an authorized user in the first 3 months from account opening. The good thing is that there's no additional fee to add authorized users for this card. $0 intro annual fee for the first year, and then $150 after that. If you decide to keep the card long term, there are a lot of tangible perks. Main ones for me are the credits for United Hotels and rideshare, and also the checked bag perk. If it's not a fit after the first year, you can downgrade personal United cards into a no annual fee option. So you do have exit options if needed. With the United Quest card, you can earn up to 100,000 bonus miles and 3,000 PQPs after $4,000 spent on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. Here it's 90k base and 10k for adding an authorized user in the first 3 months and no fee to add the AU. The intro bonus would cover the Europe options we talked about, as well as India. The card does have a $350 annual fee, so that is worth considering. You pretty much want to be able to use at least some of the credits, the easiest ones being hotel, rideshare, and car rentals. And of course, ideally use benefits like free first and second checked bags. If you do end up keeping it long term, you do get a $200 annual United travel credit every card member anniversary. Same downgrade path if needed, but worth keeping in my book, and very literally in my case since I have the card. Checking card in Amex, I've had it since 2021. For me, I value the travel credit, hotels, and rideshare, and that gets me past break even, so I'm a happy camper. Moving to the top level, we have their flagship card. With the United Club card, you can earn up to 110k bonus miles and 3k PQPs after 5,000 spent on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. 100k base and 10k for an authorized user. There's no authorized user fee here, but they also don't really get tangible benefits, so they won't get United Club access as an AU. The annual fee here is $695, which isn't cheap. The main draw of the card is that it includes a United Club membership. The membership here is the individual one, but would otherwise run you $750 compared to $695. The effective annual fee drops even more if you can use some of the credits. For example, for me, I value renowned hotels and resorts, and also rideshare. Also, if you are chasing elite status, this allows you to top off easily since it's the most efficient PQP earner. The business side doesn't have a downgrade path, but it does have an amazing offer. Note that this is the standard offer, so it's not elevated like the other ones. For the United Business card, you can earn up to 110k bonus miles and 2,000 PQPs after 5,000 spent on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. 10k by adding an AU, which doesn't have an additional cost. The intro bonus here would cover flights we talked about to Asia, let's say Taipei. There is a $150 annual fee, but there are a lot of credits that can help you get past break even, which is nice. And of course, other benefits like first checked bag. If you're looking at this and you're thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to travel, then I consider the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which has a $250 cashback offer after 500 spent on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. No annual fee and good foundational card. Also, if you do have the Chase Sapphire Preferred card or Chase Sapphire Reserve, this becomes 25,000 points, and you can transfer that to other partners. It definitely could make sense if you need to top off for one of these redemptions. On a side note, if you want to learn about cards, whether these ones or pretty much any other cards out there, and you want to support the channel, we have links on the website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, that they make sense for you, but otherwise it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Switching issuers, we have the Saks credit ending soon. I'm still not allowed to talk about the issuer themselves, my hands are kind of tied there, but it is what it is. AskSebby though would bring out the periodic table and tell you to refer to element 78. Effective July 1st, 2026, the up to $50 credit here is being removed. A lot of this has to do with their Chapter 11 bankruptcy and the state of the company as a whole. Credits are marketing and they're turning the marketing funnel off. If you have the credit, I would use it while you can, especially if you can do it in person. There's a lot of things you can buy in person that you can't buy online. If you no longer have a store near you and you're stuck online, then make sure that you actually want the item and you're not forcing anything. If you're someone into cologne, let's say Tom Ford, then that's an option, especially for the travel ones. Same thing for coffee table books if that's more your jam. Also a great way to add some life to your set, the book and not the side duck. Cosmetics are another great option since pricing tends to be pretty consistent. For example, this face spray is $45. On the Derma store, it's $45 as well, and same thing if you go directly to the brand. I'll link to a few options down below in case you're curious or need some ideas. Again, don't force it, you don't have to use every single credit. For a lot of people, if you can get to about 900, then you're in a good spot. Uber being pretty useful, but maybe not clear. Same thing with their dining network, digital entertainment, and Lululemon, but maybe not Walmart Plus. If not those, then you still have the airline fee credit and the hotel credit. Worst case, give it a try for a year and see if you like it. If you do want to run the numbers on these very expensive cards, we do have calculators that should pop up if you search card name worth it AskSebby. It lets you check that the math actually maths for your situation. Switching credits, we have some tech news. Uber is acquiring Blacklane for an undisclosed amount. The reason this matters is because Citi has a credit. On the Citi Strata Elite card, you get up to $200 for Blacklane, and it's broken down semi-annually. I am still pretty bearish on the credit, but a lot of people seem to like it, and sentiment seems to have shifted, especially if you visit Europe. The big question is what's going to happen to the credit, and I think there's 3 outcomes. Number 1 is that the Blacklane credit sticks around. This could happen. It depends on if Uber folds the business into its core product, like it did with Drizzly into Uber Eats, or if it decides to keep it separate, like it did with Postmates. On one hand, Blacklane seems to have some cachet and brand recognition. On the other hand, it feels very tied into their core business of calling rides. Option number 2 is it becomes an Uber credit. I'm not sure why, but I don't see this one happening, especially because Uber already has a partnership with another issuer, and I don't know if they'd want to share. Option number 3 is Citi adds a new partner. This seems like the most obvious choice, and if anything, companies are now going to credit card issuers for customer acquisition. In that sense, expansion of the credits makes sense. I am kind of curious what credits you'd want to see, whether it's transit, food, or retail based. I do feel like Citi is in a bit of a weird spot and playing third fiddle to the other two. But a last story, if you are trying to go to Japan, then now might be a good time to book. Points and miles are a bit weird where you either have to book when you're out, last minute, or wait for these availability dumps. In which case, you might want to act soon. This is going to be through Air France and KLM's Flying Blue program. One big benefit is that pretty much everyone transfers over here, so it makes it pretty easy. If you are going from Hawaii, it is a bit cheaper at 71.5k miles, but a lot less availability. For most of us, you're going to look at repositioning to Seattle or adding in a mini Seattle trip. Here's what availability looks like for summer, and it's not bad at all. Last seen 2 hours ago, and it's 89k points and about $34 in fees. It is 09, which means that there's 9 seats in business class. Doing a quick refresh, so checked now, it's the same space. I would double check availability for when you're booking it before you transfer points, but seems pretty easy. A lot of the inventory is under A350-900, which is pretty roomy and a good product. Of the US carriers, it's probably my favorite way to go to Asia, especially given a soft and hard product. The new United product might surpass it, but we'll see, still need to try it. Dates for Q4 are a bit rough, mostly around Thanksgiving, but generally a good time to travel anyways, especially internationally. In our experience, some of the best availability abroad pops up during that time. Skiing and snowboarding season are wide open though, so it might be worth considering, especially late January and early February when the snow is the best. I am thinking about booking it and locking it in, but that would also mean that 3 of the last 4 ski seasons, we flew Delta to Japan. Also bonus, if you ski or snowboard, would love your thoughts here. I am thinking about switching to Mountain Collective for a season. The main limitation is that you only get 2 days at each of the places, but it is a lot cheaper. The rationale being that I want to do 2 or 3 weeks of skiing in Japan for next year, so I don't really need the Icon Pass. Even if it is just 2 days at each place, I could do Alta, Snowbird, and Snow Basin, and then that's a week in Utah. Doing the trip directly would otherwise cost about $1,200, $600 being half the price. I probably could also add in a Banff and Lake Louise trip, and get a bit more value there as well. Probably in the weeds, but this channel is pretty much me going down rabbit holes. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. And if you're curious, all legal affiliate disclosures can also be found below in the description box. If you made it to this point, leave a rabbit emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions. Number 1, what's the next trip you're booking? Number 2, how are you spending your Saks credits? And 3, what do you think will happen with the Blacklane credit and whether it's going to be replaced? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, thumbs up, share this, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.